policies, the privatization of the university, the compact agreements between the regents, the president, and the state of California that have started since the 90s have began to shut the gates of this university for blacks, for Chicanos, for Latinos, and for immigrants in this university. And let us remember how it is that we opened these gates in the first place. Remember the Chicano movements in the 70s, remember even the women's movements of the 70s, the indigenous movements in the 70s that made sure that generations after them had these gates open to them and that education was a human right for everyone.
What I see in front of me, the banners, the faces, the demands, is the life of the university as I understand it. It is the university taking on form in the public sphere, escaping from the academic boardroom, shrugging off the jargon of the entrepreneurs and patent seekers, and reminding us what a university really is. A university is not a brand name. It is not an umbrella organization for 150 assorted corporate laboratories. A university, a public university, is not a finishing school for the sons and daughters of the shrinking few able to afford it.
Up D, we called a strike today. And you guys made it. You made it happen, and you can make a whole lot more happen. Last week, the university, in the spirit of, quote, sharing the pain, saw fit to lay off 34 custodians. That's a quarter of the people who clean the campus.
Ramirez, I am one of the 34 custodians that they were laid off last 14 of this month. And here we are, guys, you know, along my co-workers and you wonderful students, supporting students to our cause.
African American and part of communities of color, we are tired. We are sick and tired of all these injustices. Every year we look around, our rates are going down and down, and we are tired of seeing that. No more can we take classes that we need to, that are required for us to graduate from this university. We are seeing this university turn into privatization, where we can no longer take the classes that we need. And right now, I just want us to know that we have a voice as students. Cheer if you have a voice as students.
I'm Blanca. I'm a GSI and a student in the French department, and I try to teach at Berkeley. And why I say I try to teach at Berkeley is because now they're cutting the telephone lines in our department. Because now they're laying off staff persons in our department. Because now we cannot make enough copies for our students in our department. This is what's happening in the university, and this is what privatization means of this university. It means that the fees are going up again. I come from Spain, and when I came to this country, they told me this is the richest country of the world. California is the 9th economy in the world, and you tell me we don't have money for public education for everybody? You tell me we don't have money in this country. We don't have money for single-payer healthcare. You tell me the U.S. cannot afford that? I don't believe it. I tell the regents, show me the budget.
Education should be free.
The wretched refuse of your teeming shore, send these the homeless tempest-tossed to me. I left my lamp beside the golden door. These words of our dearest Lady Liberty convince me, even in the darkest times, that this country was for me. She opens the doors to our people, our tired, our poor, then shuts it in our faces in 1934. The times make them young bands a little round brothers.
colors. Their sisters, their mothers are now labeled the others not allowed in this country because of our skin colors.
Assistants, we're the receptionists, the few that are left. We're the people that process your admissions. We're the people that take in fees. We're the people who are the child care workers, and we're the library assistants who closed down Bancroft Library today.
There's not a budget crisis at UC, it's a leadership crisis, and the kinds of takebacks that they want in are so extreme, it's affecting people very drastically.
I'm a gardener in UC Berkeley. Right now we are facing problems about the pay cuts, we are facing layoff. The most important, we have layoff. We actually, like a week ago, we have 32 custodian workers who has a layoff.
I took a job at the UC here making half of what I was making professionally in the corporate world, doing the same job. And I did that for some very specific reasons because I believed in what the UC stood for and the value of public education.
You say Prop 13, how has that affected UC?
I mean, Prop 13 was the major catalyst for the major changes in the public university and in the public education in California in general. It stopped funding for California. It's happened in the 60s and 70s, and we now no longer have enough money for schools. We have no money for any infrastructure, anything in California.
I come back after 22 years. When I first came, the cost was $1,500 for the entire year. So I guess after 20 years, it's up 2,000%.
I'm a peace and conflict major, and almost half of my classes have been cut. I just transferred here. You know, I've been waiting, my whole life to go to Berkeley, and now that I'm here, I can't even get into the classes.
My friends in the clerical union have been laid off already.
Who's doing the work?
Exactly. They're having the executives who make so much more money than we do.
The university is the biggest landlord in Berkeley. They own rental property. They have a lot of income from other sources. The state budget is only 10% of their income. So why are they going and treating their workers not so good? And why are they raising fees on the students, like 43% as of next year?
Myself, as a low-class, first-generation, low-income student, I work with students from the same background as mine. Latino students who I tell that money shouldn't be an issue when they apply to college. And now, with them applying to colleges, me working with them with their personal statements is going to be much more difficult. And now the question I ask them is, will money be an issue for them when they want to go to any university, especially in the UC system? The public character of this institution is threatened, and I do not like that.
The United States is a rich country. Are you surprised it's happening?
Very surprised. I never cease being surprised. The amount of people who don't have health care, the amount of people who cannot get a decent education in this country.
I think today is a big success. I think that students and workers and faculty have united together in an unprecedented way that has not been seen in many years. I think we're seeing the beginnings of a movement that could really transform the nature of these universities. But to do that, we're going to have to unite the fights against racism with the fight around the budget cuts. We're going to have to continue to act on our collective power.
If the person driving these cuts was not a man making almost $1 million and living in a mansion up on a hill that all of us pays $11,000 a month for, if before coming to us telling us that we needed to share the pain, that they had first shared the wealth, then we might have had something to talk about. Now we have something to fight about. While after the layoffs and furloughs and the fee hikes, you can say, and you would be right to say, that we are the victims of of these cuts,